Okay, now we're going to be continuing with L2, graph solutions to absolute value equations. So just taking it one step further, we're going to solve the equation and then plot both points on the number line. Okay, so we've got absolute value of d plus 3 is equal to 5. So what was inside? D plus 3 could simplify to a positive 5 because the absolute value of 5 is 5. Or the d plus 3 could have simplified to a negative 5 because the absolute value of negative 5 is positive 5. So we'll solve each side accordingly. So subtract 3, that cancels, and this is going to be d is equal to 2, or cancels, d is equal to negative 8. Negative 8. Okay, so we've got negative 8's got to be a point, and positive 2 has got to be a point. Now, one of the things you'll see here, and if we can get to the graphing unit of what an absolute value function looks like on a coordinate plane, it'll make a little bit more sense as to where these, in fact, x-intercepts are going to be. Now, what we're going to find here is what makes this 0 would be negative 3. So when I have a d plus 3, negative 3 is right in the middle of negative 8 and positive 2. So it basically what we're saying is what value is 5 units away from what makes this 0? Negative 3 plus 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a little trick that some of you guys will pick up after you do enough practice. I'm trying to give you a little insight now as we get going so you can save yourself some time in the future. Okay, now we've got absolute value of s minus 3 is equal to 4. So we're saying s minus 3 could simplify to positive 4, or s minus 3 could simplify to negative 4. We're going to solve each side accordingly. So adding 3 to both sides. Adding 3 to both sides. Okay, that's going to cancel. This is going to become 7. Or that is going to become negative 1. Okay, 7 and negative 1. Okay, negative 1, positive 7. And here, the value of s that would make this 0 would be 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So right here, what points are 4 units away from 0? 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units from 3. Okay. We've got 3 is equal to the absolute value of b plus 3. Okay, so the absolute value is isolated. We'll go ahead and solve for each case. B plus 3 is equal to 3, or b plus 3 is equal to negative 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides, and we get b is equal to 0, or b is equal to negative 6. All right, so in this case, what plus 3 is 0? Well, that's negative 3. And what's 3 units away from it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Negative 6 and 0. All right, now this one, we're only going to have one solution. Okay, let me erase this for a second. So the absolute value of q minus 6 could be equal to 0. Remember, or we're going to say q minus 6 could equal negative 0, but realize 0 doesn't hold a sign. So if we add 6 to both sides, add 6 to both sides, Q is equal to 6, and Q is equal to 6 again. 6 minus 0 is 6. So what we're saying here is the value that gives you a 0 inside here would be 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. And what value is 0 units away from 0? Well, the answer is 6. Okay, same thing here. Y minus 1. Really, what 1 would make this a positive value, and what is 0 away from 1? Well, just 1. Okay, if that's confusing, I would pause the tape, go back, rewatch those last two examples. Maybe they'll make a little bit sense after a while. Okay, we'll be having the Zoom towards the end of the week, probably Thursday or Friday, depending on when I see you guys, and we'll go over that example again. Okay, so here we have 24 minus 8s is equal to 16, or 24 minus 8s is equal to negative 16. So what was inside could have simplified to positive 16 because the absolute value of 16 is 16. And what was inside could have simplified to negative 16 because the absolute value of negative 16 is also positive 16. I'm going to move things around here. I'm going to subtract 16. I'm going to add the 8s just because I can. Now 24 minus 16 is going to be 8 is equal to 8s. So s is equal to 1. And over here, I'm going to add 16 to both sides. Add 8s to both sides. And that is going to be 40 is equal to 8s. So 5 is going to be equal to s. My s's and 5's look identical. So we've got 1 and 5. Okay, this is going to be a little bit confusing, but the value of s that would give me a 0 inside would be 3. Because 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. And negative 24 plus 24 is 0. Now, oops, I don't want that point there. All right, we've got b minus 65. Absolute value of b minus 65 is equal to 15. Okay, so we're going to set up the positive case. B minus 65 could have been equal to positive 15, or B minus 65 could have been equal to negative 15. Okay, we would add 65 to both sides. 65 and 15 is going to be 80, so B could be equal to 80. Or if I add 65 to both sides, over here, oops, that's going to be 80. Okay, so really what is 15 above and 15 below? 65, and that is going to be, I'm sorry, that should be 50. 50 and 80. Okay, now in this case, we would divide both sides by 5 first. And the good thing is when you divide by 0 by anything, you still get 0. So we've got absolute value of P. Let me clear this. Absolute value of P minus 37 is going to be equal to 0. Remember, when we have 0, we're only going to have one solution. So P minus 37 could be equal to positive 0 or negative 0, but we're only going to get the one solution. We want to know what is 0 units away from 37. Okay, I'm going to do maybe one of these. Now, as we get closer to 90, you're gonna have to do a little bit more work before you set up. But basically, all this means is we have to do a little work to isolate the absolute value. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides first. And now we end up with absolute value of t minus 44 is equal to 5. Once the absolute value is set equal to it, or it has been isolated, now we're going to set up each case. T minus 44 is equal to 5, or t minus 44 is equal to negative 5. Okay, we're adding 44 to both sides. So t is equal to 49, adding 44 to both sides. And over here, it's 44 minus 5, so we're going to get 39. Okay, and those are going to be our two cases, 39 and 49. Okay, now that's pretty much what you're going to see going forward. They do get a little bit challenging, but just realize isolate the absolute value first, then set equal to the positive in the opposite case, and you should be at 90 in no time.